Hello there friends, welcome back to another video. I've always received a lot of messages along the lines of, I just started a Tumblr, or I just came back to Tumblr after like 5 years because of your videos, but I find myself very lost. How do I Tumblr? I've noticed the volume of these messages has increased a lot over the past few weeks, probably because a lot of people are looking for alternatives to Twitter right now. So I thought, okay, I will do it. I will have a sit down and I will tell you how to Tumblr. Tumblr in particular is a site that a lot of people have trouble getting started with or understanding at first, and that doesn't surprise me. I'm gonna use my media studies degree for a hot second right here. There's a difference between the intended use and the actual use of social media. Regardless of the intentions of like what these features are designed to do, we always end up associating or like assigning our own kind of implications and social meanings to them. Stuff like, how do you decide whether to post something to your Instagram story or to just post it normally? What do you think of a YouTube video when the comments are turned off? Is it fine to text people this emoji as like a neutral confirmation of plans or information? Because I do it all the time and people tell me that sometimes they assume I want them dead because of it. I'm sorry that I'm a tech illiterate old man. How do you decide when you reblog a Tumblr post to put your comments in the tags or on the post itself? So we create all of these social rules on social media sites that are not necessarily obvious to new users, are not necessarily implicit in the features themselves, and I would say that Tumblr has probably one of the densest dictionaries of unsaid social rules that I have ever encountered. I fully understand why new users have trouble with it, but before we go any further, I've got to tell you a little bit about this video's sponsor, Etiquette. They are a handmade sterling silver jewelry company based in my home city of Toronto. A lot of their designs are like occult or mythology inspired in like a really cool, witchy, gothy kind of way that is just, it is so extremely my style. I'm so happy to have Etiquette as a sponsor because I love their stuff so much. In my opinion, it's a great place to go to look for those really, really perfect staple pieces that just go with everything, because I find their stuff is a great balance between kind of interesting and weird and alternative, but also sleek and classy. I've been wearing the Pushing Daisies ear hangers for like 3 months straight now. However, I also recently got my hands on the Emperor ring. Hello Satan, you're looking very cute today. The 9 Lives ring, which is quickly becoming one of my favorite rings ever. It's a cat skull and the detailing on it is so nice. As well as the Wonderland bolo tie. It's got little shrooms on it. And like I said, everything is handmade sterling silver, so I have these amazing, gorgeous pieces that I love and want to wear until the day that I die, and I can because they're such amazing quality and they'll last. And right now, Etiquette is giving away a $1,000 gift card to one of my subscribers. All you have to do to be entered for the giveaway is to use the link in the description below to sign up for the Etiquette mailing list. Thank you again to Etiquette for sponsoring this video. So here I am. I'm going to create a new blog. I am creating this as a side blog on my current account, but let's just pretend I am. I'm starting a new Tumblr account from scratch. It's all gonna look the same. Blog title. Okay. This is probably not as important as your URL. I mean, you can change either of them at any time. Neither of them are like truly that serious, but what do I want my blog to project to its visitors? This is the rat zone. I think I'm gonna go full my immortal core and call it like Gothic Girl 666. Is that URL available? I hope so. No, I don't want to password protect my blog. You can do that if you want to create a Tumblr just like purely for yourself and your friends. You can just create a private blog with a password and it's great. Oh my god, okay. Gothic Girl 666 is not a taken URL. Absolutely do not make your URL your real name. That's extremely weird. You can put it in your bio. You can put your real name in your bio if you want. But even then, just first names. If you put your name in your URL, people might think you're a bot. The reason for this is that Tumblr used to have a really big problem with what we called porn bots. They were these accounts that were run by bots. They would just spam, follow, and like everything, and they were filled with porn. And a lot of them had names like Lisa 7, Brittany Rose 56. So do not do that. People will block you. You can put your first name only in your bio. It'd be kind of weird to put your full name in your bio. I mean, maybe if you're a creator and it's sort of like a business adjacent account, maybe then that would really be the only reason to do it. Obviously, the most important thing is what you're comfortable with individually. However, it's kind of widely agreed that Tumblr is not a place for like watching your online image or being presentable or having your everyday identity attached to it. Like, you don't want your coworkers looking at your Tumblr or like your family friends looking at your Tumblr. Like, it's a place to kind of be anonymous and cringe and let loose. And maybe you have absolutely no problem with your coworkers and your family friends finding your Tumblr. Like, I don't know what you're doing on there. Maybe it's completely good Christian wholesome fun. However, it's just a Tumblr norm that it's kind of weird to have your like normal everyday identity and full name attached to your blog. We're gonna do a little customization. Go to edit appearance. For my bio, I'm just gonna say Tia. I am 24. I am a lesbian. That's pretty much the most basic Tumblr bio you can do. If you don't want to put your age in your bio, you can just say whether you're a minor or an adult. A lot of people like to know that information so that they can make sure they're interacting with you appropriately. You can also put warnings as to whether your blog is going to contain adult content, any other sort of content warnings. Much like a stupid URL, profile picture is absolutely required. People will think you're a bot. I have all my photos on my phone, so I'm just actually gonna do this from my phone. I'm gonna change my avatar to... Do I have funny picture of cat? Also, I hate... Why is it a circle? Can I still... Yeah, okay. Shape, yes. The good one, thanks. Nobody likes a circle profile picture. Does not even matter what your profile picture is to begin with. Just make it something. Since I don't really know what I want my header image to be, I can just say don't show the header image. But this is all really fun stuff to play around with once you have a better idea of what you want to do. And we're gonna make the background black, and then we're gonna need to make the text not black. Perfect. Any detailed biographical stuff you want to include, like lists of your interests, links to other social media, FAQs about you, your DNI, do not interact list, all of that stuff would probably go in either an about page or a pinned post. I think pinned posts are more popular with newer users, and about pages are kind of becoming more of a thing of the past as people are not really making their own themes anymore, but that's something I'll get more into later. So you can just make a post, pin it to the top of your blog with all of your information. DNIs or do not interacts, by the way, it's like a list of all the sorts of people you don't really want interacting with your posts or following your blog. So you could say TERFs do not interact, Raylo shippers do not interact, whatever it is. They're a bit of a meme now, I will say, on Tumblr because they were very, very popular for a while. And they're kind of just like a meme among users now because, I mean, I still see them sometimes, but I don't think they're that popular anymore, unironically, because I don't really know how effective they are. Like, I'm not going to check someone's DNI every single time I reblog a post. It's not that practical. However, you will still see it sometimes, and it is a bit of a meme among Tumblr users. So, good to know information. The next area of customization you might go into, let's see, enable custom theme. Yes, I would like to edit my theme. I hear some people say stuff sometimes like, oh, if you use the default Tumblr theme, like, oh, whatever, you're obviously a new user. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think a lot of people it doesn't matter that much anymore. Or maybe you're like me and you had a beautiful theme that you coded yourself when you were in like high school and then accidentally deleted it. Or maybe your blog changes over time and your old theme that you made no longer fits and then you don't have the energy to make a new one. You only briefly taught yourself HTML when you were like 16 and you no longer remember anything. It's just all kinds of situations just happen to people who aren't me. The reality is that most people use the mobile app, and even if they are using Tumblr on desktop and they click on your blog, the first thing it shows them is this kind of like side view of your blog. The only time that I would really look at someone's desktop view of their blog is for like 2 seconds before I go in to stalk their archive. Unless you're using Tumblr as like a more formal, like long form type of blog or even like a portfolio for your art or something like that. If you're using it as something like that where you might be sending people the link to the desktop version and you want that to look nice, then your theme is probably very important. But I think for most users, it's just not that important anymore. It's definitely not one of the first things that you need to worry about. However, it is fun. If you're planning to mainly use the app and never really look at your desktop theme, that's fine. But I do recommend it because it's fun. If you know HTML, you can do anything you want. They've got all kinds of free themes. They do have some that you can pay for, but I honestly don't know anyone who pays for them. If anything, I know there used to be quite a market for users who knew how to code very well and would like code all kinds of cool themes. And you could buy themes from them, but I don't know if anybody buys the themes that Tumblr sells or ever really did. Anyway, there's still quite a lot you can do with just the free ones on here. I should just pick one. Which one says rat zone to me? Yeah, this one works. And then here you can still change the background color, title color, whether you have a header image. And if I were to go to add a page here, I could create gothicgirl666 at tumblr.com / for example, about. And there, now I have an about page and I can link that in my bio and then users can go look at that. I think it's probably cleaner than having people have to look at your pinned post every time they go to your blog. It's probably the way that I still prefer. But again, these desktop features are falling out of popularity. But if we can bring them back, I have no qualms about that. I don't really fall into the camp of, the app is the future, embrace the app and forget about the desktop features. But I'm also not fully in the camp of like, these kids these days, look at your fucking desktop. Whatever's fun. The purpose of Tumblr is to just have fun and do whatever is you want to do. And if you're indecisive about what you want to do with your main blog, don't even worry about it, because you can do this a lot of times. You may have picked up on what I said at the very beginning of this video, that I created my Gothic Girl Rat Zone as a side blog to my main blog. You can create side blogs. You can create as many side blogs as you want. And it's amazing if you want to have blogs dedicated to specific different communities rather than having everything all jumbled up. You can have all of those blogs on the same account, so it's super easy to switch between them. However, that being said, you will only ever have one dashboard. You can send asks and message people from side blogs, but you cannot follow people from side blogs. So you'll only ever have one dash. People will always see your main blog as the blog that is following them. So for that reason, it's usually a good idea to put your main blog in the bio of your side blog. I could probably do that. That's correct. No, is that my Instagram? Fuck, that's my Instagram. That's my Tumblr. There you go. This profile picture is bothering me. I want it to be something more gothic. We're working with what I've got in my camera roll, so I need to crop this now. Undignified. The Witch, 1893, by John Mailer Collier. I'm now cropping out that information so that I can have a lovely square Tumblr profile picture. Now I feel more aesthetic. I feel ready to approach the Tumblr girlies. I want to make it very clear, though, that your Tumblr can be literally whatever you want it to be. Over the past few years, the user base has shrunk a lot, and Tumblr has become really into itself. Tumblr is very into it being Tumblr these days. The idea of Tumblr history, Tumblr heritage, the blog heritage posts, jokes like Goncharov and Dracula Daily, the Tumblr holidays, like every March 15th we go crazy about Julius Caesar. Why is that? I don't know, it's just Tumblr culture. And all that stuff is cool. It's great. It brings me joy. I have a lot of fun with it. I like it. I know that I promote it a lot on this channel. But if you don't care to keep up with any of that stuff, also awesome. It's not obligatory. I have friends who use Tumblr in very specific fandom niches who I have to explain the big Tumblr jokes to all the time. I had to explain to one of my friends what a blorbo was pretty recently, and she's been on Tumblr longer than I have. All that stuff is avoidable, and it's not necessary to use the site. As long as you find your niche and you have fun with it, that's all you need. So once your blog is like baseline presentable, or I don't know, maybe you've like coded your whole theme from scratch at this point, I don't know. Whatever floats your boat. Whatever order you want to do this in is totally fine. However, I'm going to say once my blog, The Rat Zone, is baseline presentable, I'm going to go out and follow some people. Who do I follow? That's a pretty common question I get on Tumblr, since there's no celebrities. It's kind of weird to follow celebrities, but also it's weird to follow people you know in real life. So who do you follow on Tumblr then? First of all, there definitely are some creators and famous people to semi-famous people. You can follow me on Tumblr. My Tumblr is awesome and you're gonna love it. You can follow Strange Eons and you can follow The Rat Zone. I don't know what I'm doing yet with The Rat Zone, but I just also remembered I can change the font. Wait. There's a very limited number of fonts, by the way. You can't make it like the chiller font or anything, unfortunately. Yeah, I'll go for that. Let's see. I know probably like the token famous person on Tumblr right now is Neil Gaiman. Oh, people like Neil Gaiman, right? Could follow him. What about your average dudes? Where do you find the dudes on Tumblr? The content of Tumblr generally falls into two categories. We used to call them hipster and fandom. Simply, what fandoms and aesthetics do you like? I like the Locked Tomb book series. As you can see, I'm already following the tag. But I could follow the tag, and I can see all kinds of fan art and text posts and things that spark joy about this book series I like. And if I see someone has made a post that I think is clever or interesting or funny, I can click on their blog. And if I like a good amount of their posts, if their tastes seem to align with mine, I can follow them. Now, doesn't even necessarily have to be that all of their posts are about particular fandom that I liked their posts about. It's just, do I like their posts? Do I think they have good taste and I trust their content curation? Sure, then I will follow them. When you're looking for good posts, you can do top posts of all time, top posts of last 6 months. You can sort by types of posts as well. You can also sort by latest posts. This is a fun way to get into like weird stuff with like 1 or 2 notes that maybe doesn't have a lot of appreciation. If you've seen any of my Tumblr deep dive videos, you'd know that once you start looking up a tag, you very quickly come across even more community terminology, even more related tags. So I searched the lock tomb, but you can also go lock tomb, TLT, TLT fan art, specific character tags. And once you start clicking through this stuff, you will discover all kinds of stuff that you never could have imagined. This is some really cool art. I could reblog this post, but I do want to make sure that I'm in fact reblogging it to Gothic Girl 666 Rat Zone. Tumblr is super into Goncharov right now. So yes, it's more of a typical Tumblr thing, but I have seen some really gorgeous fan art. It's a fun tag to look through. MCR Tumblr is popping these days. Here's an account called MCR Boys. I like this art. And see, that's the thing about Tumblr. It's quite easy to find people to follow because everything is so interconnected. So like, I really like this person's art that they did of Joan of Arc Gerard. And it seems they do quite a lot of cool things on their account. So I'm gonna follow. And honestly, following people is not that big of a deal because if it turns out that they annoy me, I will unfollow them later. Okay, let's see what there is just in a tag for emo. It's furries already! Oh, this is so like 2015 Tumblr. That is a URL. That's some good stuff. And they just make these like aesthetic photo sets. This one, I like this photo set. Oh, teeth rings! Oh, fuck yeah, teeth rings. I need to stress to you that it is not weird to be followed by strangers on Tumblr, especially if you post consistently about one thing or a handful of things. Like, people know you're following because you also like that thing. I know that this is one thing that can be very hard for users who are used to other sites to get used to. Kind of on Instagram specifically, there's so many politics around, oh, you followed this person, oh, you unfollowed this person, like, free yourself from these shackles of being perceived, okay? Tumblr doesn't make anyone's follower count, lists of who they follow, any of that public. You can make who you follow public, but almost nobody does. Follow whoever you want and they're not going to think you're a creepy stranger. We're all creepy strangers on Tumblr, okay? And once you've got a good dashboard, don't be afraid to unfollow you if people start annoying you. Someone you previously had some interest in common gets into some new thing and starts posting like 50 pictures of anime boys to your Tumblr dash every single day, and you're like, I'm sorry, Jessica, we had some good times over BBC Sherlock, but it's time to go. It happens, okay? There was a phase in like, must have been 2015 or 2016. I followed a lot of lesbians, obviously. People on my dash kept getting into Supergirl, and I was just fucking whack-a-moling them all. It was that and Voltron. Those are 2 fandoms to this day. If I see them, I'm like, I will concuss you. Something I really love about Tumblr is the amount of customization you can do to your dash. So if I go to my dashboard settings, I can turn on or off endless scrolling, timestamps on posts, short and long posts. I actually like seeing the long posts sometimes. And you can turn off all of this algorithm curated content. This switch puts the stuff you like at the top of your dash. Okay, I don't care about your stupid algorithm. I follow people for content that I like. I want to see posts in chronological order from people that I follow. Stuff in your orbit based on your likes, these are all just recommended posts. You can get rid of them. Some of these recommended posts and the algorithm-y things are some things that might be kind of strange and new and yucky to new users who are coming back to Tumblr, haven't touched it since 2013. You can turn all those things off and it will not feel that different from your 2013 Tumblr. Tumblr does still now have a recommended page, but they're completely separate. It's optional. You don't have to look at it. I know a lot of people don't. I look at it sometimes. I think it can give me interesting ideas for new people to follow or just new things sometimes. The final kind of fun thing in the customization realm I would like to mention is you can change your just the look of it. Oh, Goth Rave is kind of cool. I think I'm going to keep mine on Goth Rave. I usually opt for classic blue, just for the or low contrast classic, yeah. I'm really vibing with Goth Rave right now, so I'm gonna stick with Goth Rave. So once you have this beautiful Tumblr dashboard filled with posts that you enjoy looking at, what do you do then? Reblog your favorite posts. I know, this seems incredibly baseline obvious to how Tumblr works, but this is actually something that I've seen Tumblr users complaining about lately, new users joining and not using the reblog feature, just having completely empty blogs, which is weird. Do not do that. If your blog is empty, that's very weird. So as you can see here, when you hit reblog on a post, it gives you this space here to add your own caption, but you do not have to type anything there. Reblogging things is not nearly that big of a deal. In fact, it would be just as weird as having an empty blog to add a comment to every single thing that you reblog. That's That's serial killer shit. Absolutely do not do that either. How you decide whether to like or reblog posts is entirely up to what you want your blog to be. Is your blog only fandom stuff? Is it only aesthetic stuff that you want to keep consistent? Maybe it's even more specific than that. It's one particular aesthetic or one particular fandom. Another question I got a lot was, how do you even gain followers on Tumblr? Other platforms have this way of making every individual feel like they need to act like an influencer, and it's so stupid. No one sees your follower count on Tumblr. It doesn't matter. Nobody has any way of discerning whether you have 500 followers or 3. The purpose of it is just to vibe. You may not even want anyone to follow your Tumblr. Maybe you're just on there collecting your little images and things like your scrapbook, and that's fine. But even if that's your situation, you may find yourself wondering, I've been on Tumblr for a few months now, and I have like 3 followers, and 2 of them are porn bots. So how does anyone end up racking up like thousands of followers on Tumblr? How does it even work? Son, I'm afraid you're going to have to talk to internet strangers. Make some of your own posts. You don't even have to be particularly talented at art or writing or anything. Just make some dumb memes or mood boards or anything to do with stuff that you're interested in and unleash your creations into the tags. I had a fandom blog. I still have it actually. It is one of the 7 side blogs still on my account. It's private now. You will not find it. But I had a fandom blog back in the day. Probably around like 2014, 2015, with about 700 followers, which is pretty decent on Tumblr. It was enough that I got like asks and stuff regularly, and I only ran this blog for like a year, I think, before I lost interest in it, but most of those followers that I had came from just memes. I made stupid memes for this show, that's it. It's not actually that hard, I don't think. You got thoughts in your brain, you got thoughts about things, maybe they're even funny, post them on Tumblr. Bonus points if it's about a weird interest that you can't really relate to anyone in real life about. Why do you think that Tumblr has historically always been for weird social outcasts? Interact with your communities, reblog people's posts, and make additions to them, even if it's just you having a little haha funny to yourself in the tags. People can still see that, and they will probably still laugh at it, and maybe follow you back. I did get another specific question about, like, ask and DM etiquette and, like, how to avoid coming off as a weirdo, which is hard to answer, because first of all, part of the fun is getting weird asks on Tumblr. So I don't really know. I guess that's what the anonymous feature is for, if you want to like suss things out and send people anon messages first. Another specific question I got that I thought was really interesting was how to go about building up your following on Tumblr if you're a creator. In the case of Tumblr, we're probably talking about artists and writers. That's what you see a lot of on Tumblr. My recommendation then would be to dabble in some aesthetics and fandoms that you like, because that stuff is much easier to find and to tag than original stuff. So if people find your fandom related stuff, that can be a much easier gateway into your original stuff than trying to just sell the original stuff on its own. It's the same as starting YouTube. If you post a video called Tuesday Vlog Number 1, Chillin' with the Dudes, nobody's gonna watch that. You have to talk about topics that people are already interested in until you capture their attention, you get them invested in you as a person, and then you can probably get away with posting a Tuesday Vlog Number 1, Chillin' with the Dudes. So yeah, my best piece of advice, really my only piece of advice, I might be talking out my ass, you don't have to listen to me. The piece of advice that comes to my brain to give to you is to create some content for established aesthetics and fandoms to lure people in to look at your cool stuff. Now once you have reached this point of your Tumblr experience, you're involved in some communities, you got a decent following, this is the point at which you might start encountering some drama. Do not feel any need to engage with it, honestly. The overall culture of Tumblr has really shifted away from the realm of serious discourse. If someone is being like deathly serious about a topic on a post, you will be far more successful with the Tumblr audience by making a joke about it than engaging seriously with them. There might still be a lingering idea in some people's brains of Tumblr as like the 14-year-old kid discourse website. It's not. Probably because it has been 10 years since Tumblr had that reputation. None of the users have left and no new ones have joined. We are all tired of that shit. If you do not like someone on Tumblr, just block them. It's not that serious. The only kind of stupid drama thing that I will say is still pretty common is people will send you asks or DMs like, hey, you reblogged this post from this person, delete it right now. Please unfollow Fishlips68 right now. They ship Raylo. OP is a TERF. Delete that post. Yes, you should absolutely strive not to reblog TERF posts, but you should also not get in the habit of taking anonymous Tumblr messages at face value. You can investigate those instances individually and decide what you want to do about it. Use your brain, kids. If people are bothering you, you can turn off anonymous asks, so that way if they have something to say, they at least have to say it with their name attached. You can make it so that only people who follow you can DM you. You can turn off reblogs on specific posts. Although people tend to use that feature very differently. They use it to add this kind of exclusivity to their posts, like, I'm turning off reblogs when this hits 10k, so get in while you can. What did I say before about the intended use versus the actual use of social media features? Now let's get into some of the nitty-gritty of Tumblr posting etiquette. The most important thing that you might get wrong as a user coming over from another site. Reblogging posts with kind of short, unimportant comments is a no. Don't do it. Don't reblog a post and write LMAO and reblog it. Don't do that. Okay, so what I'm talking about, let's just use the same post as an example. You can like it, you can reblog it, you can comment on it, or share. Nobody cares about the share button. If I were to click reply, I could type something in the comments down here. So far someone has said, she is fierce. She is. If I really wanted to, I could type a hashtag girlboss in these comments, and that's fine. If I were to reblog the post, I could also tag it LMAO girlboss, she is fierce, whatever you want. Tags and comments, free for all. Typing something here in like on the actual post, don't fuck it up. If you leave like short, useless comments on the post, just absolutely do not do it. That's such a giveaway that you are not a Tumblr user. So given these three sections, tags, comments, or comments on the post itself, how do you decide where you put your thoughts? If you want the person who originally posted it to see your comments, I would say put them in the comments. If it's for yourself and your own audience, put it in the tags. And sometimes people do say really, really funny things in the tags, and it's kind of become a post format now that someone will take a screenshot of a tag they think is very funny and then post a screenshot of the tag on the posts. So it's sort of like a peer review process for our comments on Tumblr posts. I'm sorry if this is already getting so convoluted. Just the best way to figure any of this stuff out is just to go on Tumblr and look at the way that people post. That being said, I am not trying to scare you away from actually adding your comments to a post. You can do that. That is a feature that is there for you to use. If you have something to add that you think improves the post, makes it more interesting, makes it funnier, absolutely do that. This feature is there for you to use. It's just very easy, I think, to misuse, and if you misuse it, Tumblr will get you. They won't run you off the site or anything. They'll probably just be like, ew, stinky Twitter user, and not follow you. Liking a post on Tumblr is a little strange. It's a little different from any other site, and that is because most users don't go for the algorithm curated experience of Tumblr. So in that sense, likes don't really do anything. You're just kind of saving it for yourself, saying, I enjoy this, but you're not helping to put it in front of anybody else's eyeballs. On YouTube, likes and comments are extremely important to feeding the algorithm, to helping the video get more popular. Does not do that on Tumblr. Some people take a hardline stance that likes are just a completely useless feature. Stop liking things, reblog everything that tickles your fancy in some kind of a way. I don't know about that. I don't think I'm gonna stop liking things. I don't think I could. I think it's so compulsive. I do it. Not every post that I like is gonna fit on my blog or on anybody else's blog, and I don't want people to stop liking my posts either. Liking things is still good, and you should still do it. I'm just explaining to you how this feature kind of works in the Tumblr ecosystem so that you know. Now I want to talk a little bit more about tags. So putting non-essential comments or personal comments in the tags is this kind of piece of Tumblr etiquette, Tumblr practice that has evolved naturally over the years. However, the actual purpose of tags is to organize your posts, which is something that I actually used to be very good at, but I absolutely suck at these days. I tag almost nothing, and that would make a lot of veteran Tumblr users break out into hives. I'm sorry, guys. If I was less bad at things, I would remember to tag every single MCR-related post that I reblog with MCR, every Lock Tomb-related post with the Lock Tomb. That way I can click on that tag, and then it will show me every post on my blog that uses that tag. When you're tagging posts that you have reblogged from someone else, tagging them only serves to organize them on your own blog. The only way that you can add something to the search results for a tag is if you create that post yourself and tag it. One thing that I recommend at the very least is to have tags for posts that you have made yourself, even if it's like my posts. Have a tag for posts that you've made versus posts that you've reblogged. Because you are going to want to go back probably and look at all the dumb posts that you have personally made over the years. I do not have one, and it's constantly the bane of my life, because I know I posted last week, hey guys, you got any stupid video ideas? You got any thoughts about new users coming to Tumblr? And then I have to scroll through like Gerard Way, Joan of Arc pics for like 5 minutes before I can find that post from last week. So, if I only remembered to have a My Posts tag, this would be so much easier. It is also good Tumblr etiquette, which I don't follow, to tag every ask that you answer with the URL of the person who sent the ask. That way they will be able to find it in the future by searching for their own URL on Tumblr. A practice that I like very much is if you see a post that reminds you of a friend, you can tag it with their name, and then they can go and look through your blog. Search for their name or click on the tag and see all of the posts that you tagged with their name. I think a few of my friends have tags for me, and I'm sure they're all horrible. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. A few more things that are generally considered polite. If you are going to post a lot in one sitting, add things to your queue. It's a feature that helps stop you from flooding people's dashes with content all at once, so you can set your queue to post at like twice a day at noon and 4 p.m., for example. So if you're really excited about something and you just have to reblog like 200 posts about it, instead of flooding people with those 200 posts all in one night, post limit is 250, by the way. 200, you're good, you're still fine. But if you don't want to flood people's dashes with all of those posts at once, you can add them to your queue and it will post them at more respectable intervals. Sometimes when people do this, they will tag all of the posts with their Q tag. So if you see a tag that is some kind of weird way of spelling Q or some kind of pun on Q, that's probably their Q tag. They'll just tag things when they add them to their queue with that so that people seeing the posts know where those posts are coming from. You can also schedule posts for specific days or times, even years in the future. I had this post that I added to my queue years ago. And it was something along the lines of one day you're 23 and the next day you're 24. That's fucked up. And I scheduled it like years in advance for my 24th birthday, just to scare myself. Final piece of good Tumblr etiquette, if you are going to make a very long post, add a little read more thing so that people can click on the read more and see the full post, rather than have to scroll through your giant wall of text on their dash if they don't feel like reading it. Now on to things that are rude. They're rude and don't do them. I already told you about reblogging things with like fucking LMAO written underneath the post, because that is the most egregious one. But a few other things, overusing or misusing tags for sure. I know it can be tempting to tag your posts with a really big fandom or aesthetic to get some more exposure, but people will block you. Another piece of tagging etiquette, especially for fandoms, is if you don't like a thing, if you don't like a character or a pairing, don't just tag it with that character name or that ship name, tag it with anti that thing, so that people who like that thing don't have to see you being a negative Nelly, and you can find your fellow haters. So it kind of helps to avoid drama. It keeps both of those tags more fun for the people who want to use them. Another really, really big one, do not censor yourself. If you're discussing a sensitive topic, do not spell things wrong, add letters in the middle of words, or censor things. I know this has become common practice on other sites, especially TikTok, because certain words are not allowed, or at least are suppressed by the algorithm. First of all, that is not the case on Tumblr. Second of all, when you censor things, you are messing with people's content filtering systems. If you don't want to see certain words or tags on your Tumblr dash, you can block those words from being shown on your Tumblr dash. And that is an amazing feature that a lot of people rely on to not come across triggering content. And if people are spelling things with a bunch of letters and numbers in the middle of them trying to get around oppressive algorithms, don't do that on Tumblr. You don't need to do that. You're messing with people's content filtering. It's a lot more likely that they're not going to be able to filter out your post and they're going to see something they don't want to see. So you're doing people a favor if you type out the full word. The final thing I want to touch on before I release you into the wilds of Tumblr is some of the new features, because these are things that I think might be jarring to new users who are coming back to Tumblr after 5, 7, 10 years. We're talking about gifts, the blue check marks, Tumblr Blaze, the subscription model, the merch. These are all features that may feel weird to you coming from Tumblr, but the purpose of them is fundraising. Tumblr needs money to be a website, and I like it being a website, and I think most users are in this camp, and we understand that Tumblr needs money to function, and we would rather hand them our money willingly to put funny little crabs on each other's screens and have our data stolen or be shown sketchy advertisements. Yes, you can pay to put crabs on other people's screens. You can buy Tumblr brand shoelaces. Anyone can pay for up to 24 blue check marks beside their name, which is just so fucking stupid and yet kind of irresistible. I have 4, by the way. The only fundraising feature that has any serious etiquette attached to it is Blaze. For some reason, we're at this point where the user base has decided that Blaze is only acceptable to use for jokes. People loved it for the joke potential to begin with, but now they've kind of latched on to like using it for anything but jokes is bad, which I don't fully agree with either. Sometimes art that people deem good enough is also acceptable to Blaze. I think promoting your art or your fan fiction or your small business, no matter what level of skill you are at, if you want to promote your thing, I think that's fine. I think it should be fine, but you might get some people being assholes. There's this really prevalent attitude on Tumblr against anyone who seems like follower-oriented, like they're trying very hard to gain followers. So if you were to post something that is, I guess, attention-seeking, but like not really even, just like something that would be normal to post on another site, like if you post a really nice selfie that you like of yourself and you blaze that post, you're gonna get clowned on. Again, this is something that I don't necessarily think should be bad, but at this point Tumblr has an attitude that Blaze is only for posting the entire B-movie script and nothing else. So that'll probably change. People will probably get sick of caring about something this dumb. I don't know though. There's a lot of kind of dumb rules of Tumblr that have been ingrained really deeply over like the past decade, so I don't know. Who knows? The only way to really understand and kind of suss these things out is to just use Tumblr. Go make a blog, follow some things you like, suss out the vibes for a little while, and see if it changes your life and you love it. I love it. Take my advice. It's so good. Thank you so much for watching this video, my friends. I will see you in another one very soon.